Hey everybody, Zach here, and it is time for the show that can only be described as a mishmash of various forms of entertainment. Sit back and relax and get ready because we are on air. What's going on everybody? It's your boy Zach here, and welcome to a brand new episode of On Air. We have entered a new month, June, which is also considered to be Pride Month. This is the time set aside for the LGBTQ population by flying rainbow-colored flags and just celebrating everything LGBTQ. Now, I have to put a trigger warning because this is going to be the gayest show ever. Not only during Pride Month, but every month, baby. So, if you're out there and you're a hater or homophobe listening to this broadcast, I would highly encourage that you tune out or just don't listen to me at all. Up to you. Now, there is some history as to why June is considered Pride Month. Now, before I begin, also, the haters, you might want to get your earmuffs and your tin hat. Anyway, it traces its roots back to the Stonewall riots, which started on June 28, 1969. The first Pride marches started the following year on June 28, 1970, to commemorate the multi-day riots. And these one-day celebrations eventually evolved into a full month of LGBTQ pride. It was not until 1972 when the newspapers would pick up on it. The first mention of Pride Month was in a June 5th, 1972 issue of Pennsylvania's Delaware County Daily Times. In the article, gay activist Berna Aronson talks about the gay rights rallies popping up across the country. And shortly after says, we call it Gay Pride Week and Gay Pride Month, the whole month of June. Okay, I do have to preface something. I'm in pain. No, I bent over and pulled a chest muscle. Zach, why were you bent over? Because it's Pride Month, baby. So if it sounds like I'm in pain, it's because I'm laughing too hard. That's why. Well, moving on locally here, it was the end of an era, but the start of a new age for legendary radio host Lisa Williams as she signed off the air for good last Friday. Williams is, of course, well known as the co-host of The Morning Drive with Mike and Lisa, and she hung up the mic after nearly 30 years on the air. Now, I had the privilege of interviewing both Mike and Lisa on my late night talk show, Remotely Zach, and I was very fortunate to have this moment.
I've been to New York City many times. Love it. Great city. But apparently when you went, you had a bit of an interesting situation. You could please detail for us.
How did you hear about that story,
Oh my
Zach?
God, good research.
I found it on your radio show.
Good research, Zach. I like this
I talked
story.
about that once on our show.
Yeah, and it's lived on.
And then regretted it. And now you're bringing it up. Well, let's just give like bullet points. Highlights. New York City.
Okay.
2009, maybe. Overtired, exhausted, arrived, went for dinner, came back to the hotel room. Only had a few glasses of wine. Fell asleep, woke up, walked in my sleep for the first time in my life. Ended up naked in a hotel hallway. Banging on somebody else's door.
Oh my God, you imagine?
Yep.
At least you weren't in Windsor.
Right? I'm so grateful and thankful for that. So thankful that there is no video because believe me, I've looked. Yeah, that's a story for life, that one. Yeah. It gets a lot more animated and interesting after I've had a few glasses of wine and tell it. Beat that one, Mike.
Yeah, right. It's a good story. It's one of my favorites.
Well, happy retirement, Lisa. If you're looking for a vacation, maybe don't go to New York. Try Chicago. Moving on to entertainment, Jennifer Lopez is canceling her latest tour. What? I know, I was shocked too. Not really, I really don't care. Lopez said on Friday that her This Is Me live summer concert tour has been canceled so she can take time to be with her family. Representatives of Live Nation also announced on Friday that the on-the-floor singer needs a break to be with her children, family, and close friends. I think Ben Affleck is doing fine with the nanny. I mean, it's just, I think she's doing fine. They're doing fine. It's okay. Which is interesting because it seems like concerts are having a hard time getting butts in seats. Concerts are not what they used to be. They are more expensive than ever when coupled with fee after fee after fee. Not to mention the large merge of Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Remember the great Taylor Swift ticket fiasco? Now you'd be lucky to find Eras Tour tickets under $1,000. So if there's any, and if you're out there and you have a heart, I'm begging you, please, if you have tickets to sell to the Eras Tour in Toronto, I will take them. I don't care what date, but if you have any to sell, please, 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 please. So if you can find it in your heart, that would be great. Because either I'm gonna have to sell a kidney. Heck, I'm gonna need to sell both kidneys in order to afford that. You know, both kidneys, maybe my liver, maybe my appendix. Just take it all. Just take it all. So, you know, if you're going to concerts and you're worried, you know, oh my God, Taylor's gonna cancel her concert. No, unless you're Taylor or Pink, you'll be fine. Speaking of concerts, Cyndi Lauper has announced her new tour, the Girls Just Want to Have Fun tour, which is actually going to be her farewell tour. Ahead of the release of her documentary, Let the Canary Sing, Lauper announced her final North American tour, which kicks off this fall in Montreal. It also includes stops in Los Angeles, Boston, Nashville, Chicago, and New York City. The latter being a hometown show for the singer. Special guests will accompany Lauper throughout the tour with their names announced at a later date. Lauper will be performing at different cities such as Montreal, Toronto, and even Detroit. She'll be at the Fox Theater. General tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. local time. I'm really glad she's going on this tour because I thought it was time after time. On to another big event, the Community Integration Through Cooperative Education Program, or CICE for short, will be holding their 10-year anniversary party next Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. in the Student Life Center at St. Clair's main campus. I will be emceeing the event, and again, that is next Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. at St. Clair College's main campus. Speaking of such, that is a program I hold near and dear to me because it was my first program. If I was not accepted into that program, I would most likely not be where I am today, and some may say that's a good thing. As someone who struggles with a disability and was told you are never going to go to college, this was my way in, because this program was made for individuals with disabilities, giving them a balance of school and work. When I was there, the program was brand new, like really new. I started in 2015, right after the crop of new students, and when me and my mom were applying, the choices were either horticulture, cooking, and general arts and sciences, and I picked the latter, so I guess you could say I got gas. Hey, I've been waiting about 7 years to use that joke, so there you go. Not only is this program offered at St. Clair, but it actually started being offered at different colleges around the province, including Humber, Fanshawe, and Lambton colleges. So happy 10-year anniversary, guys. So if you do want to help out, it's $10. Come, have some fun, and learn about the program while you're there as well. Finally, this is a question I saw on another show. Do you wash your feet when you shower? Man, 3 episodes in and we're already talking about feet. Oh man, there are actually many reasons as to why you should. Regularly washing the skin on your feet, top, sides, and bottom with soap and water is an easy way to stop them from smelling so much you can practically see the funk wafting from your toes. Yummy. Not to mention the bacteria that can cause foot odor, and they just look clean. I mean, who doesn't want clean feet? I mean, hey, there's people out there, you're going to need, those clean feet are going to bring in the money. I tell you that right now. You got to make them look nice for the camera. I, for one, don't, you know what? There's certain exceptions to when I will wash my feet. I think probably like a day where I'm there and it's, I'm just been in my shoes all day, and like a day like today when I'm out, doing this or bowling. So I'm going to be in my shoes for quite a while. So I think I absolutely should wash them. Also, actually, by the way, I might need to start washing them more. Those Taylor Swift tickets ain't cheap. Then again, I would rather sell a kidney than post pics of my feet on the internet. Oh my God. This is taking a whole new turn. Well, on today, stick around because the show has only just begun, unfortunately. Today, we head into the darkness for a golden mystery. All aboard, because we take a look at a famous Detroit landmark. And I'll tell you what's on my latest watch list. And of course, we cap it off with the weirdest news found on the internet. You're listening to On Air. Now, it's no secret that I love true crime and murder mysteries, and these days I'm watching a whole ton. Also, have you noticed how far we've come in DNA testing, and how it has been able to be used to catch some of the most elusive serial killers of our lifetimes? Also, something weird to me is it's not just done in 1 hour. I feel duped. CSI, Criminal Minds, come on. Anyway, I say that because DNA was used to catch this week's feature, who was none other than Joseph James DeAngelo, also known as the Golden State Killer. Here is this week's Into the Darkness. I'm Zach, and welcome to the podcast where the darkest topics always come to light. Welcome to Into the Darkness. The daytime was normal for the people who lived in California, but when day turned to night, some people's lives would change forever as a killer was lurking in the shadows. A killer who was golden. This is a story of the Golden State Killer. This killer is one of the most infamous serial murderers in United States history, also known as the Visalia Ransacker, the East Area Rapist, and the original Night Stalker. The Golden State Killer was active from 1974 to 1986, from the Sacramento area to Santa Barbara County, committing at least 13 murders, 50-plus rapes, and more than 100 burglaries. In June 1976, the East Sacramento area became the hunting grounds of a serial rapist. The perpetrator began by stalking women in the area and peeping through their windows. He escalated to rape on June 18, 1976, when he broke into the home of a single woman in Rancho Cordova and sexually assaulted her at knife point. He committed at least 49 more assaults in the East Sacramento area and surrounding cities, the last known assault being on June 11, 1979, in Danville, just outside San Francisco. In 1978, the East Area Rapist murdered Katie and Brian McGorry while they were walking their dog in Rancho Cordova. The killer would then get bold, and even more so with each assault. He went from sexually assaulting women in their homes to targeting couples. He would enter the home, tie up the couples living there, and he would then head to the kitchen, get bowls and plates, and leave them on their backs. He would threaten the male if he heard the cattling of the dishes. Here I'd be worried about him dropping and breaking them. Yikes. The killer was living in plain sight in the community. There was one point where the town gathered for a town hall meeting, and the husband quoted saying, "If he comes into my house, I'll kill him myself." That night, his family was attacked. This crime mystery even caught the attention of true crime novelist Michelle McNamara, who was working on a project involving the Golden State Killer. Unfortunately, McNamara passed away in 2016 before she was able to finish the project. Also, bonus fact, she was married to comedian and actor Patton Oswalt until her death. All right, back to the story. This is a breaking news bulletin. Former police officer Joseph James DeAngelo has been arrested at his home in suspicion of being the Golden State Killer. April 24th, 2018, Sacramento. That evening, Sacramento County Sheriff's deputies arrested D'Angelo in the side yard of his Sacramento home. He was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. There is kind of a plot twist to this. See, he was also working as a police officer during the years of the murders. It is believed that is why he was able to not only get caught, but stay one step ahead of law enforcement. So, how did he get caught? D'Angelo got caught thanks in part to modern DNA testing. Officers were able to get DNA off a coffee cup D'Angelo used previously, and it came back as a match. With modern-day DNA, we'll probably end up finding sooner rather than later the identities of previous serial killers like the Zodiac, the Phantom Killer, and maybe even the Tylenol murder suspect. Well, that's it for this episode of Into the Darkness. Be sure to join me for the next edition as we take a look at some fictional thriller. I'm Zach. See you next time. Honestly, I thought they were never going to catch him. Attention on-air listeners. We don't have a sale, but we do have a couple fighting in aisle 6. Ooh, okay, I'll have to check that out. Here's actually a really big did you know fact. 1 in 4 couples fight while at the grocery store. This is a fair stat and why I prefer to go shopping alone. I like to go alone because the occasional Lego set will fall into my cart and I don't want the judgment, okay? I really don't want the judgment. When I'm at the grocery store, I usually try to go in for 1 bag of items. However, when I'm with others, it's like, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, oh, and this, your father needs this, your mother needs that, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And now my 1 bag has turned into 8 bags. Also, when I'm with others, I feel rushed, you know? I feel rushed at the checkout. It's like, go, 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 fill up the bag, faster, faster, faster. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Or it could be when you're in the produce section and you start holding up melons in a not so right manner, being like, hey, big boy. Sometimes an argument will commence because I'm trying to look for something and it's not where I think it is. Like, for example, I was looking for chocolate syrup and I thought it would be in the section with the canola oil and like the fish cans. I thought I was going to really have a breakdown. Why can't the chocolate syrup just be with the fish oil, the canola oil, you know? And you'd think it makes sense. Anywho, oh man, anywho, that's what you're gonna get grocery shopping from me. From holding melons sexually to breaking down in aisle 6. Moving on. Today was a great day across the river in Detroit. The old Michigan Central Station, after decades of decay, has finally opened. Festivities included a concert yesterday, as well as public tours that were happening today to see the progress. And unfortunately, I didn't get to go, but I just really hope I get the chance to walk those halls soon. I mean, the stories they could tell, oh my God, the story the walls could tell. Just because I didn't get to go does not mean I haven't previously visited the building. I did a Did You Know on this a while back and decided this would actually be the appropriate time to air it. So without further ado, here is the history about Michigan's Central Station. Behind me is the Michigan Central Station, located right here in Detroit's Corktown neighborhood. Prior to the station's construction, the Michigan Central Railroad operated out of a depot located near the Detroit River and 3rd Street, right about where Joe Louis Arena once stood. Michigan Central Station was built partially to accommodate railway traffic from the Detroit-Windsor Railway Tunnel, which operated in 1910, and an increase in passenger business. But all good things must come to an end, as rail travel saw a sharp decline in the 1950s, leaving this building empty and a canvas for vandals. In 2018, the Ford Motor Company purchased the station and announced its plans to renovate the building. During the renovations, they uncovered numerous bottles of whiskey buried in the basement walls.
The wait is almost over. The doors to Ford's Michigan Central Station are set to reopen this summer.
The depot is scheduled to reopen on June 6th of this year. The more you know. For the Mediaplex, I'm Zachary Balogh. Moving right along with today's broadcast, as I said before, it is Pride Month, and what better way to celebrate with an LGBTQ version of my latest watch list. Here's what I'm watching. Alrighty, this is probably one of my favorite films. It's Red, White, and Royal Blue. This sultry, sexy movie revolves around Alex Claremont Diaz, the first son of the United States, and young Prince Harry, who fall in love. However, considering their high-profile public lives, they must keep their relationship a secret at all costs. It truly is the story of the Prince and the Pauper, and you can also watch this movie on Amazon Prime. Next up, if you're in the DVD world, it's Call Me By Your Name. This movie stars Armie Hammer, pre-Cannibal Days, and my future husband, Timothée Chalamet. It's the summer of 1983, and precocious 17-year-old Elio Perlman is spending the days with his family at their 17th century villa in Lombardy, Italy. Ooh, mamma mia. He soon meets Oliver, a handsome doctoral student who's working as an intern for Elio's father. Amid the sun-drenched splendor of their surroundings, Elio and Oliver discover the heady beauty of awakening desire over the course of a summer that will alter their lives forever. Oof. Oh. Whew. And lastly, it's the movie Love, Simon, because everyone deserves a great love story, but for 17-year-old Simon Spear, it's a little more complicated. He hasn't told his family or friends that he's gay. Ooh, that can be a bummer. And he doesn't know the identity of the anonymous classmate that he's fallen for online. Resolving both issues proves hilarious, terrifying, and life-changing. That's what's on my watch list. What's on yours? Sticking right along with entertainment, it's that time of the show where I review all forms of entertainment, new and old. Time for Zach's Views and Reviews. Can you imagine a town made of wax figures? Well, that is the premise of the film House of Wax. This early thousands slasher movie revolves around a group of college students on their way to a football game, but get stranded in an abandoned town. This film was just as freaky, and there were some really great moments, especially when the suspense drew the film. Also, this movie had a great crop of actors, including the one, the only Chad Michael Murray. Let me be honest, I could have watched the movie Wild Oats, but my oats were already running wild for Chad Michael Murray. Anywho, 4 Z's. Fabulous. Moving on to another classic film, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and You Thought Your Family Was Bad. This movie revolves around Tula and her massive Greek family. Tula has just met the man of her dreams, but the family ain't so sure. Anywho, this was a really fun movie with a great cast. However, I felt the movie was moving a little too quickly for me. She went from single to dating to married, all in the span of an hour and a half. I wish it could be like that for me. Anyway, 4 Z's. That's this edition of Zach's Views and Reviews. Is there anything I should be watching or listening to? Hit me up on social media. I want to hear from you. Well, moving on, because we all know what time it is. It's Friday, and that means it's time for the weirdest news found on the internet. Time for Weird News. A Michigan man with a suspended driver's license dialed into his court hearing while driving. True story. Michigan man Corey Harris probably thought he was doing the right thing when he dialed into a court Zoom call for his case about driving on a suspended license. The problem was, he joined the May 15th call while he was driving a vehicle, something that isn't allowed when you have a suspended driver's license. When asked if Harris was behind the wheel of a car, and the defendant told the court, "Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. So just give me a second, I'm parking right now." And also, this story, and there's actually been a development in this story, he never had a driver's license to begin with. So he, not only did he drive on a suspended driver's license, but he drove on a suspended driver's license that didn't exist. Man, I hope I hope he was going to a brain doctor. Oh, man. From one peninsula to another, it's time for...
Florida Man, Florida Man, does whatever a Florida man can. Look out, here comes the Florida Man.
More than 60 years after moving to the U.S., a Florida man discovered he's not there legally. Oh, man, wait till Trump hears about that. Jimmy Class thought he was the all-American man until he figured out he wasn't. Class was born in Canada, to a Canadian mom and American father. Class said his family moved to the U.S. when he was 2. As Class got older, he assumed he too was an American dual citizen. However, Class said it all came to light after he applied for the Social Security retirement benefits he had paid into his entire working life, in which Class said, "You've got to be kidding me," he said. "1 month, they told me I should expect my first check on the second Wednesday of 2020, but instead, I get a letter stating that I haven't proven to them that I'm here legally." He thought he was American as apple pie. Turns out he's as Canadian as maple syrup. Time to travel to the Great White North for the weirdest stories that'll make you say,
"Oh, Canada."
A Peterborough man is in the hospital after he was struck by his own vehicle. Around noon, emergency crews responded to the incident at a home on 8th Line Smith. Medics said even an Orange Air ambulance was called into the scene. However, they canceled it after. Peterborough County OPP are investigating the incident. Constable Dan Gay tells Global News that the man was doing repairs on his vehicle when it rolled onto him. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but a lifetime of embarrassment. Well, that's the weirdness for this week, and now it's time for your Zach Sack of dad jokes, and this is when I reach into my baggie here, and I pick out a dad joke that I'm going to read for you all. All right, let's see, what have we got here? Let's take a look. All right. The head of the Dairy Association is coming to town. She's the big cheese. You really can't make this stuff up. Well, that's the show for you this evening. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. I also want to thank the Mediaplex for allowing me to record here for you all. I'll see you again next week, same place, same time. And now, here to play us out, Semisonic, because it's closing time.
Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Places you will be from. Closing time, this room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come. So gather up your jackets, move it to the exits. I hope you have found a friend. Closing time, every new beginning comes from some other